This week on the show, photographer Jeff Esposito. I'm model Roxanne Callie.
And I'm photographer Brian Fisher.
And this is Model Photography Showcase. Another classic episode, guys. We're on to episode 10 of our 2013 episodes for Model Photography Showcase when we first started. And that was back when we were doing just a slideshow and audio, of course. So this portion of the show is from the new studio, and the old podcast is not. So enjoy it. It's a classic, old but good.
Jeff was great. Enjoy the episode. We'll see you guys soon. Hey, Roxanne.
Hi, Brian. How's it going?
It's good.
Good.
I found us a photographer.
Oh, really? Another one?
Well, they're laying around.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I drug him over to a Skype, and I got some pictures and strapped him told him I'd let him go if he just talked to us about them.
Oh, wonderful. I'm glad we have a captive audience.
Well, it's the best way to go. You can't just get volunteers.
No.
No. I hear you shot a little with Bill Lemon.
I did.
All right. I drove you, and then I held things, and I did whatever was told, and we mentioned it in the last podcast, but we didn't show any pictures.
And I flung bras at you?
Well, yes.
On occasion.
Honestly, that happens to me a lot, so I didn't notice like you'd think.
Oh, what a terrible
But I
thing.
thought the audience might like to see this picture here.
Sure.
And you have hair that is covering your modesty. You have a shocking amount of hair, Roxanne.
I do. It's down really almost to my butt.
It is fabulous. Not that we want anything to hide your butt, to be honest.
No, it doesn't hide it, though. It just goes almost there.
Speaking of your butt, there's also this picture. Some lovely yellow things you're wearing there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
I got those right for that shoot.
Just that one pair. Nothing above there.
Yep, nothing else.
Yeah.
Just that one pair of panties.
I, of course, I averted my eyes. I saw nothing. I simply held things and caught bras that were flying.
Absolutely.
Because I am a respectful co-host.
Absolutely. All right. Well, Jeff, what brought you to your field of photography?
It's just been a hobby. Before I was really involved in landscapes and, since college and stuff, probably the last year or so, I started getting involved with different meetup.com groups in the area and started with model photography. And that's kind of re-energized my interest in photography again. And that's kind of how I got started with all this.
Speaking of college, we completely inadvertently booked another Cal Poly graduate.
And I understand why you started with landscapes, because San Luis Obispo is absolutely
it's completely
gorgeous.
Beautiful. But
Absolutely.
if we're not careful, we're going to it's going to become the Cal Poly interview show. It's
Yes.
like one after another. We honest people, we are not trying to do this. It just happens. And it turns out what you should know is that Cal Poly is a wonderful blend of very artistic people and very technically savvy people, and it generates photographers like a couple of crazy rabbits make babies. It's rather incredible.
Or regular rabbits, for that matter.
Well, yes, regular rabbits, but crazy rabbits are so much more fun.
Oh, are they?
So we're gonna hop into images here, and as we are customarily reminding the people on the enhanced podcast that they can command click or control click, depending on your operating system of choice, the icon in the iTunes upper menu bar, and they will see the slideshow, which honestly adds a lot
To the podcast. Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
You will understand what we're talking about.
If you would like to see, I don't know, the naked part of the podcast, you need to manually subscribe to the feeds that allow you to automatically download the episodes.
Absolutely. And we would appreciate you downloading our episodes.
Yes, because
Off of
otherwise
that.
I don't know why we're here. Honestly, they're a lot of fun. If people just weren't listening, I'd probably still want to do
Yeah,
this.
we would just
It's
chat
pretty
and talk
cool.
to photographers.
Our first image, I just love the light.
Yeah, this is with Bella Von Ecstasy. She's actually one of the first models that I've shot. And we've become pretty good friends since known her for over a year now. And this was actually shot probably about 3 in the afternoon, so it was pretty bright, and just kind of adjusted the camera settings to get it, nice and dark. So just that shaft of light, it's actually coming through a window that had some bars on it. And I just liked the way it looked. Had a couple shots where I had her laying on the ground and then just had her sitting against the wall, and I just really liked the way that one came out. And just kind of the way the pink of her stockings kind of came out too, just really popped.
Her lips and her stockings match, but her fingernails are red.
Yeah, we got to talk to her about that. It's just not acceptable. No, it's fine.
I really like her expression in this.
I do too. I like it this way. I think I would also love it in a black and white.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
I think both would be great.
Yeah.
And she's one of those models that just gives you just great looks every time you shoot her. I mean, she's just amazing with her expressions.
I love that when you shoot a model and you're like, I am cheating. The model is so good. I'm just holding a camera.
Luckily, most of my models are like that. So.
Well,
you picked them well.
There is some power to picking the right one.
Absolutely. This one is great. I love her eyelashes and her earrings, and the fact that you captured her in the side mirror just adds to it.
Yeah, I don't know who this model was. I forget her name. This was actually at a group shoot, and what the person that kind of set it up didn't tell us was that the people who there were a lot of classic cars that were part of the shoot, and what she didn't tell us was that she was creating a calendar for the people that brought their cars over. And I shoot a lot of close-up shots. I don't really do a lot of kind of wide angle, so I didn't get a lot of shots of the car, but I got a lot of the models and kind of close up with the models. But this was one kind of got behind, tried to get away from the other photographers, and just was able to capture with a nice expression on her.
Well, not to be stealing your idea, but this is on my list. Absolutely on my list of shots that I need to do.
Well, it looks like she's talking also.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think she was talking. She was just looking out the window, just posing.
She's given this expression that is very spontaneous. And I don't know, it's just so neat. And I love, so she's sharp and everything is just this beautiful blur, bokeh, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
But then I like that the car comes back because of the way depth of field works. The car has these little bits of sharp along, and it really is. I mean, I picked it and I'm like, oh, that's a cool picture. And then I came back and I'm staring and I'm like, actually, it's cooler than that. And then you go, oh, it meets the, you start going, oh, it meets rule of thirds. And you're like, oh, it meets the principle of negative space. Oh, it meets golden spiral. Like, holy crap, this thing actually meets like every rule there is.
I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no, I really could not like it more.
Yeah, yes. I like the way the dash just comes into focus. It's a little bit so you can tell that she's sitting in the car. And
of course, I'm sure you were absolutely is exactly what you planned.
Exactly. All the time.
Oh, of course. I just see this way myself. Speaking of beautiful, beautiful blur.
Oh my goodness. This is exquisite. I don't think I've used that word yet. And this is a qualifying photo.
We got a listener email that's like, you guys just love everything. Try to not use so many loving words. And my thought is, but I picked them because I love them.
Yes. This model, I want to meet her.
Yeah, she's Gina Marie. I don't know. She has a couple different names that she goes by. I think right now it's Gina Marie. Yeah, she was a really good model. So shot in a hotel with natural light. I think like 2.8. And had the focus on her eyelash, and it just worked out nicely.
It works out nicely, and now she has a lovely bosom, and yet by letting it fall just a little soft, it becomes complementary instead of, because going back to that primitive brain, if this was all sharp, you would go like, I'm sure she has a face, but I can't look over there right now. And instead,
even for me.
Well, yes, you're a strange girl. But no, because it's gone soft, it allows you to look at the face, and then the face projects into this soft area that, even though it has subject matter, becomes negative space.
Right.
And that does some really neat things. And then you've made a lovely triangle with the leg, the arm, and the body.
Mm-hmm.
It's a single instead of a triple, which works good when it's a big experience.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And really happy.
Yeah, with this one, I just love the way the arm kind of flows into the leg and kind of down. So
yeah,
it works nicely.
It's just well done.
I
say over and over again, because honestly, you're not going to put a picture on that looks bad and then tell everyone, this was terrible.
I agree.
Yeah, so we're very positive. We're a happy podcast.
Absolutely.
All right.
Wow, look at that hair.
Now, Roxanne.
Yes?
I'm not saying that she would challenge you in the hair department, but I am saying you should hang out with her because you guys obviously have the same priority.
I do love her hair.
You got better lips.
Well, thank you. Maybe that's because I wear bright lipstick.
It could be. Well, this could be bright red. Could be.
It could be. You never know because it's
That's
black
true.
and white. It could have
Yeah,
been.
this is Francesca, and yeah, her hair was just amazing. I mean, she was a great model. I had trouble deciding between the color and black and white version of this one because the color one looks good as well because her hair stands out from her from the jacket that she's wearing.
Mm-hmm.
She has brown hair, then she has a dark brown jacket, and it just made her hair really pop and her face really pop.
Honestly, I just this porcelain-y sort of thing, and as we've been trying to point out, that the smile isn't everything. She is emoting in this very serious, I've got deep thoughts kind of way. I really like it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, she had great expressions throughout the shoot, so there are a lot of good ones from that shoot.
Is she California or is she from?
Yeah, she's Northern California. I think San Jose area, maybe.
Okay.
Well, she needs to come on our podcast.
Yeah.
Get right on that.
Or I could, I'd love to meet her, I'm sure. There's a couple. There's been models through a lot of the portfolios that I think I would love to meet. I just want to shake her hand.
There's
maybe
my
give
best
her a
friend,
little
and I haven't even met her yet. I feel that way about some of the photographers. Like, I gotta hang out with that guy.
You feel like you connect sometimes just by seeing their image.
Yeah. Well, you can also, and from a photographer's perspective, if I look at somebody's portfolio and I'm like, man, we think the same way.
Mm-hmm.
I can already see we're going to do well, and you can probably get a lot of that out of the model.
Yeah.
I think this is a really interesting image. It's very unexpected. It's very, and then the model has kind of almost a 1800s-y kind of look going on. And what I mean by that, I mean the shape of her head was a popular sort of a look. It was considered to be very attractive. She's very kind of blocky.
Yeah.
That doesn't sound good, does it? But it is good. She's beautiful. She has a square face.
Square face shape, yes.
Yes, and that was popular earlier in the time.
Yeah. And this is Janelle. She's actually a really good photographer. She has a photography profile on Model Mayhem, and she's a very creative girl. I mean, she goes to school down in San Diego, lives in Sacramento area, and yeah, she's just really fun to shoot. She comes up with some good expressions. I think she may have helped create the dress she's wearing for the shoot. This was actually done at a group shoot from someone that's in the Sacramento area, and the person that did it, that puts on these events, does all the hair and does the hair. She's a hairstylist, dressmaker, so she made all the dress and the what they call the headset.
What would you call that, Roxanne?
I guess it would be a hat almost. It would be like a
there's
headband.
A name for that preparation.
Okay, I don't know it.
I don't know that either.
Yeah.
I'll bet one of our fine listeners will send us the proper name for that.
I bet they will.
I'll bet they will. And of course, I'm looking at the car going, oh, I like that car. And then I think, oh, no, I've got too many project cars already.
Yeah, and we shot this in an old junkyard. There were probably about 6 or 7 rusted old cars that were all beat up. And it was just a really fun shoot. Got a lot of great images out of it. I think there were probably about 3 or 4 in my portfolio, just on my online portfolio from the shoot.
That takes us to our next picture, which is, I'm guessing, out of the same one.
Yes.
And again, I'm looking at whatever kind of car that is. I just want to own it, and I don't know why.
It's very neat.
Yeah, this is Brooke. This is from the same shoot. And again, just the whole styling that was done, from the shoot from this lady, Jennifer, that puts them on, was just amazing. She did a really great job of just putting everything together.
Mm-hmm.
I was just lucky enough to be able to snap some of these things and get some good images from them.
I like how it looks as though you've muted most of the channels and then just brought out that purple.
Yeah, it's really neat. It stands out.
Yeah.
It's not done heavily. It's not heavy-handed like a lot of people where they just like, oh, there's only color here on the kid's eyes. Which is not saying that doesn't work, but here it's treated as sort of a very subtle effect, and it really is, it works
It's
nicely.
almost old-fashioned.
Yeah. That's something I've been doing to a lot of my images lately in terms of editing, is just doing a little color cast over everything just to kind of blend everything together and just bring out the areas that I want.
Emphasize.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what kind of car that is.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't know, but it's cool.
It looks European because look at the license plate. It looks like there was license plate, like a long one. Yeah.
Could be. Hard to say.
Yeah.
I'm sure, again, I suspect a listener will postulate that and send it in. And if you do, we'll tell everyone.
Mm-hmm. Oh, what a neat pose.
Yeah, this is cool.
She's got to be a dancer.
Yeah, this is Chandra Martino. I don't think she's doing much modeling anymore, but she's a fitness model. She's also a dancer. Yeah, this was done in Sacramento, in I think it was like an Elks Lodge in downtown Sacramento, and just the light coming in was really bright, and the way she was just standing up there and just doing different poses. I'm just clicking away, just getting the right one. So,
and whoever is walking by outside has got to be going, "What in the hell is going on?"
I think we were on probably about the 5th or 6th floor, so it wasn't too much out there.
You know what? The only thing that I would change about this image is that I want to see her outline of her face, and there's that window pane right in the way.
Well, that's rude. Yeah. We need to go reshoot that and take the window pane out.
I agree. Take out that window pane. I want to see her face.
Yeah.
I just want to see the silhouette, and instead you just see that little tiny gap of light between her nose and her chin.
I don't know, a little photoshopping. No, I'm kidding. Again, we don't tend to be critical of our images. We pick them because we love them.
I do love this pose. Like I said, I just wanted to see her face.
She was great. Just the way she just kind of worked that window in terms of posing, and she'd do anything you'd ask, and it was no problem.
Fantastic. I think if you blew this up on a larger print, that issue of the face would go away because you would see the highlights and it just would disappear. But in the limited pixels that we have to work with, I see what you mean.
Yes, I do understand that because there would be another dimension. It would be a depth of field. Well, this one's also a great silhouette.
Speaking of silhouettes, holy moly.
Yes, wow.
Firstly, you shouldn't have burnt down the studio.
Yeah, that poor studio.
They needed that place.
Yeah. The smoke in the light is so neat.
Yeah, this is with Kendra Evans, and she's one of my favorite models to work with. I mean, you just throw out an idea with her, and she'll just jump on it. I think I just sent her an email say, "Hey, I just bought a fog machine. Let's do something with it." And this was actually at my house in a narrow hallway, because what I found out when I first got the fog machine was that as soon as you start running, it just spreads everywhere, and you don't get the kind of curls that you get here. But in a small area, it kind of contains it a little bit. Just had her backlit, and that was it. And just did a silhouette shoot with her.
Those shapes in the smoke or in the fog, as you say, those are so intricate. It's almost like there's a painting all around her.
It kind of reminds me almost like curls of hair. So it kind of offsets the model. I've never worked with Kendra Evans. I have always loved her, and it just hasn't ever happened.
Yeah. Well, she's great. I love working with her.
We'll put her on the list.
Yeah, we did a shoot probably a couple months or at the beginning or before the beginning of the year, and we did it in there's old World War II bunkers in Golden Gate Park, and we did a shoot, and she was just like running all over the place. She's a lot of fun to work with.
Well, I like that she can arch her back a lot.
Yeah, you don't do that without, I don't know, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome or something, because that's just not natural.
Yeah, she's also a dancer too, so she can do a lot of this.
That helps. That helps a lot.
I bet it does.
So, some people are more expressive than others, or you've been frustrating your model.
This was actually kind of a stage shot. This is with Bree Page. She used to be in Santa Cruz. I think she's moved to Montana or something like that lately, just a couple of months ago. And we did this shoot. She wanted to do something kind of wild makeup and hair. She had a hairstylist come and kind of do that for her. We did one shot where she just opened her mouth. She wasn't screaming or anything like she looks, but her elbow was kind of, the angle that she had, her elbow was coming out of her mouth. And I showed that to her and just kind of, let's try this again, but hold your hands behind your back. And then we got this shot, and it's one of my all-time favorite shots.
Yeah, it just rocks.
So much character to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it really works with a very plain background, because I just want to concentrate on that face. I don't want any real distractions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she's got it down. It really does look like she's yelling.
Yeah.
Was she making any noise, or did she just do it?
No, she just kind of opened her mouth and closed her eyes, and that was it.
Well.
Yeah.
Good expression.
Okay. It works for me. Very nice. And I presume that's just like one nice softbox.
Yeah, she was probably about 5-6 inches from the softbox. It was okay. I think it was like a 4-foot softbox.
Makes sense. Now, this is actually this image is the reason why we found you. I was flipping through Model Mayhem, and I made that sort of comedic Roadrunner stop. Like, oh, look at that.
Yeah, this is Anastasia Artemeva. She's amazing. I mean, if you look at her portfolio, it's God. I mean, she could do anything pretty much.
So her portfolio is so good that I'm emailing back and forth with her, trying to set up a podcast with her.
Yeah, she's supposed to come back in California sometime this month, I think. Hoping to shoot with her again. And yeah, she comes. She does all her own hair and makeup. And all of her own styling. And yeah,
she is Ukrainian, I think, or something of that nature.
She's from Moldova, I think she's from.
Okay.
But yeah, from Russia. And yeah, she lives in New York. She's been there for quite a while. But yeah, she is just amazing to work with.
Where does she get her wardrobe?
I don't know, but everything she had was just great. I mean, can't get too many bad shots of her.
So much detail. That garment.
Well, here's the secret to that garment. It's real.
Yes.
If I'm just going to take a wild guess here that she goes back home and goes shopping. Because in that part of the world, they don't throw things away. Grandma keeps everything.
Yeah.
And then it ends up in secondhand.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it is awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah, she is just a beautiful girl. I mean, and this one little secret about this was done on my iPad on Snapseed, the final look to it.
That's awesome.
Wow.
That's awesome.
And I just really like the way it came out. So, yeah.
Well, so do we.
Yeah, it's
Well, so do we.
so cool.
I had to repeat that.
Did you want to say that again?
No.
Well, okay, just checking. No,
I had a frog in my throat.
It's just, she is amazingly beautiful, and the rest, it just all works.
Classic.
It's so classic. If you opened up, the old photo album and they're like, yeah, great grandma was pretty darn hot, you'd be, you'd totally buy it.
Yeah.
And she is just so easy to work with too. I mean, she's great.
And that's of tremendous value.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, steampunk.
What character in this? This image has so much character, so much going on.
Yeah, so this is Kendra again, and this was the shoot that we did in Golden Gate Park, and we had so much fun with it. I just it was another one of those things where I just threw out an idea at her, and she's just jumped on it. This was it was a really fun shoot. Just went on Amazon, just bought a bunch of little,
steampunk accessories.
Accessories, yes, that's what I was looking for. So bought a bunch of accessories, and it just kind of worked. The lighting on this, I think I had 2 lights on her. One just in front of her, to her right, and another just speed light right behind her, just get some backlight on her.
So what's the machine in the background?
That's actually, so I did a composite on this, and that's from an old steam engine that I shot at a museum, I think it was.
I actually put that in there. I have a spare steam engine, Roxanne. If you
do, you really?
Well, yeah, everybody's got a steam engine, don't they?
Steam engine, no. But this would be a really neat concept. Although I'm still stuck on the image from or the concept from last.
Here's a little bit of Cal Poly trivia. Did you know that Cal Poly has a steam train?
No.
Really?
Yeah, it's at Cal Poly campus in Santa Cruz. Did you know Cal Poly has a Santa Cruz campus?
I did not.
And it's bigger than UC Santa Cruz?
Really?
Yes, indeed. This is one of those wonderful little secrets. 11 miles north of Santa Cruz, Cal Poly has a huge experimental agriculture campus with, maybe, 50 or 100 students at a time. And there's a story, and I won't go into it, but the guy that donated the campus has the antique steam trains that pulled people around the Pan American Exposition. And in donating the giant campus, Cal Poly has to keep the trains running.
Wow.
So I belong to the association that maintains the trains for Cal Poly. And so, yes, when I'm not taking pictures, building a house, restoring a semi, because you need a semi, and I occasionally am out laying rail.
Interesting.
Because I just don't have enough hobbies. And she could be there. She would fit right in.
She would.
Yes.
I knew that Cal Poly had a Pomona branch.
Yes.
And you know what they say with the similarity between Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and Cal Poly Pomona is, right?
Tell.
They both applied to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo.
Oh, that's so wrong. The next photographer will probably be a Pomona grad.
Oh, I hope so I can give him a hard time.
Oh, that's going to go poorly. Well, Kendra needs to come on the podcast because she has got some rockin' work.
Yeah, she's also starting to get into photography as well with her boyfriend. Yeah.
Well, that might be fun.
And her boyfriend's a model as well too. He's been on the cover. So they're going to
produce like incredibly attractive children.
Probably.
Yes.
I hate that.
Yeah. He's just started it, and he's already been on the cover of some video games. So they're doing pretty well.
Wow.
Nice. Well, I have to put a swimwear picture in because it's my home territory.
It is. This looks like a river.
Yeah, and I love the crispness of the reflection, and I love that you didn't overwork the skin. The skin looks pretty natural.
Yeah.
Tell us a little about this one.
Yeah, this is what's her name? This is Joy San. She was actually the first person that approached me that actually offered to pay me.
Oh,
But
I
we
love
did
those people.
I actually shot her friend, and she had seen those pictures and kind of contacted me. She was just wanted to kind of try out getting into modeling, and I told her, yeah, let's do a shoot. We did it on trade. But yeah, she was a lot of fun. This was in Folsom Lake, actually. And she was really reluctant to get her hair wet. And, I just, at the end of the shoot, I'm just like, just trust me. We'll get some really good shots. And, finally she did. And our best shots came from when she got her hair wet and got that kind of sexy look going. So
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
The wet hair, it goes two ways. It either totally works or you go, oh, well, I just screwed over the rest of the shoot because it's not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why we did it at the end. And I actually got a ticket on the way over to this shoot.
I hate that.
So I'll always remember this one.
Oh.
$500 to get it taken care
So
of.
Wow.
I did this shoot with a model friend of mine that I shoot occasionally, and I got pulled over by the police because I had rolled a chapstick, and I was trying to pick it up off of my seat, and I'm trying to pick it up off the ground, and I got pulled over because the guy's like, "So, how much you been drinking?" And I'm like, no, I was getting a chapstick. He's like, well, why didn't you come back here and take a little walk behind your car?
Yeah.
and he's like, how can you count? I'm like, not well.
Yeah.
He's like, so what are you doing tonight? I was like, well, I was just taking pictures of a model out on the beach. And I'm like, you want to see?
Yeah.
It turns out that of course, to get my license, I had to open up my pack because I don't have it in my pocket on the beach. And I open up my big duffel bag, and of course, it has like 100 bikinis in it. And the guy's like, well, that's a first.
Yeah.
He's like, how do you know what size to bring? I'm like, obviously, I have it covered.
Yeah, absolutely.
It turns out that showing a 24-year-old CHP officer a bunch of pictures of a scantily clad girl on the beach gets you out of a ticket. Who knew?
Pretty great.
Well, that's our last image on the group. It is beautiful.
Brian, you
obviously
disappointed me, though.
I'm sorry. I know it's
last two interviews.
Two interviews,
no backside.
I know.
For the ending picture, always is backside.
I don't know what happened. I just lost my mind, and there we were. But
I'll have to show you mine before I leave. No.
Well, okay. Well,
I'm just teasing.
Well, Jeff, I want to tell you that we really like your work, and you obviously have a spark there, and we're looking forward to seeing you develop and grow as a photographer.
Absolutely.
And then once you're wealthy and could you sponsor the podcast or something? Because we think you could go big, man.
Yes, absolutely, you could.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate that.
Wonderful. Well, we're going to go on to gadgets. And Brian, what do you have for us today?
Gadgets. So I am going to recommend the iFi. The iFi is a memory card that goes in your camera, and you're probably thinking, great, it's a memory card. Why are you? We have one. Obviously, I'm taking pictures, but it's not just a memory card. It is a memory card with Wi-Fi built in. And it has the unique ability to send your pictures away from your camera, which is handy, especially when they're floating away in the ocean. So,
or they get confiscated
because, you were taking pictures of some place you weren't supposed to. Never done that.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, the iFi will transmit to your iPhone, iPad, or if there's an internet connection, it'll transmit your pictures all the way back home or all the way back onto a server. Say, I don't know, you're on vacation and you really need to take that camera through customs and you don't know what's going to happen. Gets your pictures off to safety, and that's good. In addition to the iFis only come in an SD card. So if you need a bigger format like a CF card, there are adapters, and I want to add the 2 bits. You need a Type 3 adapter in order for most of these wireless cards to work properly. And I'll put a link right there to one on either Amazon here or BH Photo there.
Well, I am adding to my list of items to bring to a shoot, and it has gotten awfully long, as Brian told me last week. And we will be encouraging a suitcase as the last thing to add to the list.
No, I'm going to go with an ATV to carry your stuff.
Well, it's almost to that point.
Okay.
I may be limiting this to being the last spot on this, but I may not. We'll see next week. But to add to that suitcase as we go along, one thing would be moist towelettes or baby wipes.
It's a good idea.
I agree. It's great to get the baby oil off or sunscreen if you don't want the shine look. It's also great for taking off makeup in case you want to go for a more natural look. The second thing is a pair of black stilettos. I think a pair of black stilettos pretty much anywhere can.
Choose your words carefully, Roxanne.
It can improve the look of your backside.
Oh.
And even if they're not in the shot, so maybe you're taking a photo that these stilettos don't look great in, you can do a 3/4 shot and still have that lift that the heels give you without having them in the shot, and also have maybe it gives you a taller stature, and maybe you're standing next to something that you need to be a little bit taller next to, or like a male, if you're doing it with a shoot with a male model. This often helps. So I think a basic pair of straight black stilettos, whether they're slingback, open toes, I personally prefer closed toe, but only because I feel that you can get better images with those.
You know, I have to say, I think heels are used too much in images, but I had never considered that putting them on the model in order to adjust her shape and her posture. I just got schooled, and I'm good with it.
Oh, please.
So we have our first listener gadget. And unfortunately, no picture, but that's okay because it wasn't a photographer. So they didn't have picture. Anyway, Roger from Canada says, the best gadget you can have is the one you don't have. And for that, look to businesses like lensrentals.com. We're not sponsored by these folks, although if they want to sponsor us, that's modelphotographyshowcase@gmail.com. But he's right. It's the gadget you don't have, and it is tremendously empowering to go on one of these things and go, I could never afford that Canon 85mm 1.8, but I can afford it for the weekend. So thank you. That's an excellent first listener suggestion. Send yours in and send in an image, and we will show it online and on your iPhone and on your iPad and pretty much on your Android and your Windows. Well, no, Windows Phone. Does anybody have those?
I have one.
Oh, yes. Roxanne, she's the one. But anyway, send them in. We would absolutely love that.
And Jeff, we'd love to hear about your gadget of the week. What do you have for us?
I am going to pick a cube cart, and what that is just a collapsible storage cart with wheels, and you could it's great for going on location with. And if you what I do with mine is attach a kind of extendable pole to it, and it doubles as a light stand as well. So
cool.
It's really handy to have around for location shoots.
That's a cube cart?
Yeah.
That is real. Is that a photography specific thing, or is that a generic thing?
It's a generic thing.
Cool.
Yeah, you can
is that one of those ones that folds down really cool? Turns in? Oh,
that's it.
I have the cube stool in my house. Stool being a thing you stand on, not the other kind of stool. Right. That would be, you have something wrong with you if you're making those as a cube. But that's a really great idea. Those are super handy, and then they disappear when you don't need them, or when you turn your back and somebody else likes it better than you do. So, Jeff, what's the best way for somebody to get a hold of you?
Oh, wow. Let's see, probably Model Mayhem. Just send me an email through there, or just at my email, which is Esposito_54 at hotmail.com.
Fantastic. And I do encourage everyone to follow this link on the screen right now. Go over to Jeff's profile, have a look at what he does. He is just turning out some great work.
Before you go to his page,
yes,
please contact us on the show if you have any questions or positive comments. We do take negative on occasion, but we prefer positive.
Could you just tell us we're fabulous? We need all that stuff.
We prefer that, yes.
On the other hand, if you're like, wow, you guys need to change that, please, for God's sakes.
Then let us know.
We'll take it too.
It's fine. Our email is modelphotographysshowcase@gmail.com. Please come and visit us. Write us a note. Tell us what you think.
And thank you for supporting the show. Your click-throughs on Amazon have helped us to fund this little venture. And you're going on iTunes and adding some comments are helping. We now have some star ratings on the enhanced version. We almost have enough, I suspect, to start showing up on the movie or the video version. And as those star ratings and comments accrue, our ratings will get higher. We will show up higher in the listings, which means you will have more friends to talk to that watch Model Photography Showcase.
And thank you again for listening.
And just keep on clicking.